Okay, I have got my pages cut out. And the first page that I've also picked out my pretty papers that I'm going to use. And so my first page is going to be a page that I can fold out this way. Now, if you want to, you can make pocket pages. It doesn't matter how you make your pages. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put glue on my first flange. I'm going to have a mess going as I do it. I'm just going to glue it right up next to the flange, but not going over. And then I'm just going to lay the flange down. So putting glue on the flange, I go to the edge of the flange because once again, you know, I want it to stay glued. So I've got my glue on my flange. I'm going to take my page, butt it up to my flange, matching the top and the bottom, folding my flange over, rubbing down, and as you can see, I have a page now in my book. So this page is just going to fold out in this direction. Are you able to see that? I'm not really sure if you can or not. Oh, there, that's a little better. Okay, so it'll fold out like this. So what I want to do is, of course I'm going to put a magnet on it, but first I want to put on my decorative papers because that's how I roll. And I have two really beautiful papers here that I think I chose for the inside. And then I had these two really beautiful papers too. You know what? I think, I'm not sure what I want to do now. Oh, I know. I will put, I'm going to use these two blue papers on the inside of my page. And I'm going to use these two floral wallpapery papers on the other two sides. So let me go ahead and I'm going to make sure that I have this headed in the right direction. With some of these papers, it's really hard to tell. And I'm going to glue it in so that I leave a little area of black. I think the black really makes it pop. And looking at my paper, I can see that the up direction is not the one that I liked. And the way that I know that is I'm looking at the back piece of paper, and this is the upward direction on it. Therefore, it would stand to reason that this would be the upward direction on this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and just do it. I'm putting my paper in. Oops. Trying to make sure everything is as equal as possible. And I'm just brayering it down with my hand. Where I have a little bit of glue seepage, I am just rubbing my finger back and forth over it. It's just going to take that glue right off. And only you and I will know that it was ever there. All right. So there I have my first page. Now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to glue in this page, but before I glue in this page, I have to think about magnets. Nope. I'm going to do my magnet on this page and on this page. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this in. And there's a lot of really good magnets out on the market. The only thing I would suggest is using one as thin as you can, because you want to have a nice thin magnet. Laying this down, brayering it in, rubbing off any glue seepage. All right, now I'm going to put in my magnets. I have two different types of magnets. I have these magnets that I really like. I got them from Tonic Studios. And then I just recently bought these magnets off the internet from K&J Magnets. These are thin and they're strong. So I don't know. I think I'm going to use these though because they have the sticky on the back. So I'm going to go ahead. This one is a marked negative, which is nice. And I'm just going to place it almost in the middle of the book here. Because remember, when I'm going to glue other things on top of this page, I might have a pop out or a fold out. I don't know what I'm going to do on this page yet. So I'm just going to put my magnet right there. I am going to take its mate, which is the positive, and I'm going to put a piece of paper between the two, snap that magnet right on there, maybe center my paper a little bit nicer, haha. Then I'm just going to take my sticky off of it, and I'm just going to fold that straight over and push it down. Now the reason I have that paper there is just simply to make it easier to pull the magnets apart. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and glue this page and that page, and you don't really need to see me do that. Okay, so we have glued in the first page, the second page, it's not really a second page, it's still the first page, and then we have glued in our magnets, and we have glued in our next set of pretty papers. So now we're going to take the next flange, flange number 2, and we're going to glue in our design there. And I think I know what happened here. For this one, I decided, oopsie, that I want this page to open like this, up and down like that. So what I'm going to do is take my papers off of it, and I'm going to lay this down on top of the page I just did, butting it up right next to the flange, but not going over the fold line. And I'm going to put glue on the edge of my flange, and I'm just going to fold it right over and brayer it down. So that is what I'm doing. All right. So once again, bite it up, fold it over, give it a scooch. I think I'm in love with the word scooch. Scooch is cracking me up. All right. And I have brayered it down. And on this side, I've got some glue seepage, so I'm just going to rub it off. You could also use one of those little erasers, those little gum erasers, to try to get it off. I just use my fingers. Okay, now I'm going to have a little fold like this, so I'm going to have to put a magnet in here too. And this is the paper that I thought would be very pretty. And this one will fold, oh, this one will be on the inside because I didn't have enough, so I had to cut it sideways, but I'm going to have some kind of pop mechanism here, so you're not going to see that it's not quite exactly right. And then this one's going to go on the top here. Okay, so I've glued in my decorative paper. I've put my magnet underneath. I'm going to have some kind of element that pops up here on this page, and then I just went ahead and I glued the plain paper onto the back. Now remember, I said that in the middle I want to have my waterfall pages, so I'm just going to glue in 2 plain pieces of paper here. And okay, so I'm going to put my flange over to the side, and I'm just going to glue it. And I'm gluing all mine with the flange hanging off to the right. You're certainly welcome to glue yours however you want. If you want the flange hanging off on the left side, you can do that. Just whatever works for you. Okay, glue down, butting up to the edge of the flange, making sure that my edges of the flange meet with the edges of my paper, and then just rubbing down. just want to move this a little bit closer. Done. And then I have another piece of green that I thought would be pretty here. That way I can maybe put 2 large frames that 2 pictures can go in. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down as well. And I know I say you don't need to see me do this, but guess what? This time you are. Okay. This paper collection I'm using, I believe, is Enchanted by Ciao Bella, but it's not the main one. It's the, I don't know, I guess you call them secondary papers. I don't know. I love it. I saw it and I just thought it was so beautiful. Okay, so for this one, I decided to go with the blue because I think the blue is just going to make anything that I use on my waterfall pages pop. I think it's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. All right, I've got that one in. Now I just need to put in my second piece for my waterfall. Actually, it's actually page number 4 that I'm gluing into flange number 4. So once again, I'm going to put glue in my book on my flange. This one I'm just going to kind of stand up and make sure everything is in alignment. Fold it over, brayer it in place. Applying pressure like this just helps the glue get into the fibers. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put this piece on the front of that. And then on the back, I had this piece. I thought it was pretty interesting. I think I'm going to put it on the back. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you. So earlier in our book, we had a page that opened at the top. This one I'm going to put in so that it opens at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead, glue my flange, and then I'm going to butt this page right up to it. When I am gluing, I'm being very careful not to go over the fold line because remember, I want to have space between my pages. I don't want to glue anything together. Okay, so I'm just going to be careful to match these up. I'm going to stand my flange up. It is the second to the last one. I'm going to fold it over and just brayering it down. Like I said, if you want to, you could make these into pocket pages. It's entirely up to you. Rosa Kelly has a lot of beautiful tutorials on how she makes pocket pages. I don't use pocket pages. I don't know why. I just prefer not to. Okay, so now I need to think magnets. So the first thing I'm going to do is find my magnets. And I think I'm going to put one kind of up at the top of my page. I am going to do a pop-up element here, and so I don't want the magnet to be anywhere near the mechanism because depending on what I decide to put on my pop-up page, I might have too much design. All right, so then using my other piece of paper as a buffer, I'm going to find another magnet and just let it, oh, and you know what? I used the wrong one because the sticky stuck to it. So this is a positive. I put a positive down, so I need a negative. Here we go. I'm just going to let it find its friend there. I'm going to take off my backing I'm going to bring my whole page over, rub it down, and then take it off. And now I can see my two magnets. One is right there, and one is down there. And now I can just glue my paper in there. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll glue paper onto the back side, and then we'll just put in the last page. Okay, so I'm going to do my last page. I know I said I was going to put something here, but I didn't yet. On this page, I want it to fold out as well, but I think I'm going to have it fold out from the inside of the book out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach this one to the back of the flange so that then my page will fold out in this direction. So I'm going to fold my flange forward. This is the very last one I have. And I'm just going to, once again, glue it. And then I'm just going to butt it right up, butt my page right up, making sure that I have the folded part on the right and the opening part on the left. I'm just going to butt it right up, make sure everything matches, fold it down and press. And I'm really sorry everything's black and out of your field of vision. And I'm going to come to the back page and brayer it down as well. Then I have to decide what papers I want to put on here, because this is going to fold out like this, and I like things that match. I'm going to go ahead and put these two papers on it. And then on the inside, I really like these butterflies. So I'm thinking, because when you fold it out, it'll be a 3-page spread. So I'm thinking of doing butterflies on the outside. And then I'm not quite sure what I want to do for the inside. Maybe this piece that looks like a piece of wood or something. I'm not sure. So let me go ahead and glue these on and see what I think. Okay, let's take a look at what we have. Let me see if I can do something better with that light. It's awful. So this is our book that we were making, and the cover hasn't been decorated yet. We still need to do something with the spine. I think I'm going to put a piece of decorative paper over it and then maybe hang a charm from it. I've decided I'm going to leave the back as is because it doesn't bother me at all. Then we have our first set of pages, and we have a fold out. We're going to put some kind of a, I don't know, a pop mechanism in here. We're going to make it do something. We're going to make it interactive. Then we have this page, it folds up. There's going to be an interactive element in here as well. And then we have these two pages that I believe I'm just going to put big frames on, and then a picture can go inside. Next, we have the pages that we're going to build our waterfalls on. I'm going to be cutting the pieces for the waterfall out of this black cardstock. This is the back of the waterfall page. The reason I'm not making those fold open or anything is I want them to be strong enough to support all the papers that are going to go into making the waterfall and to making the pictures, or actually the weight of the pictures. And then we have this page, and it is a fold out. It folds down, and we're going to have some sort of a mechanism here as well. And then we have our last set of pages that folds out into a 3-page display, and then over to our last that folds out into a 2-page. We are going to be adding twists and turns and pops and all sorts of things to this album. So thank you for watching the video. Please stay tuned for the next one.